my right-hand guy, and he was the guy that, I created ViSalus with many months before we met Ryan. And he's been, he's been the duct tape to the operation since day one. He's the one that's held it together from every part of the business. And he's been, the guy on the inside who's kept the promoter, distributor, network marketer touch on every aspect of the business more effectively than any other corporate officer you've seen in any network marketing company. So, Blake, over to you.
Well, thanks, Nick. I appreciate that, and great to meet all of you guys remotely. You can probably see or at least feel the excitement in Nick's voice, and obviously my partner Ryan there. And I can share with you guys, there's just a lot of excitement behind these doors. Myself, Nick, and Ryan, we talk every single day, quite a few times a day, and I know Nick's had a chance to meet quite a few of you in person over there, and he translated kind of his feeling on just great people, great leadership assembling. And what I was most excited to hear is, Nick's feeling on how many of you guys on the line so closely match the culture that we've developed here in the U.S. and the excitement around really bringing the magic that we've done here in North America over to UK. And I look forward to spending a lot of time with all of you. I'm actually going to be headed out there in the first part of March for probably about 10 days. Look forward to meeting all of you, getting a chance to spend time with you, your families, getting a chance to know kind of your goals and your vision and your aspirations with the challenge over there in the European market. I'll lean on Nick on exactly where I'm going to be and when I'm going to be, as I know he's firming up the calendar, but I do want to say I'm looking forward to coming out there. You guys, as Nick said, my story we'll get into more when we meet in person and get a chance to spend more time, but coming up on 14 years in the industry, first half of which as a top producing distributor like Nick mentioned, and obviously second half of my career being on the inside as the CMO of ViSalus and really leading the sales and marketing team here in the Beverly Hills office. And I'll share with you guys, I kind of look at my role real simply. I ask myself every day, working with just an absolute phenomenal team of talent, of passion out here inside the ViSalus walls. And we ask ourselves, how do we go out there and really make the overall experience for every customer that joins the challenge the best that it can be? What can we put in place to help every last customer succeed on their 90-day challenge, accomplish whatever their weight loss and fitness goals are? And then obviously on the promoter side, we ask ourselves, what can we put in place to make our promoters' lives easier? What tools, what resources, what marketing, what technology, what innovation, what support? What do you need out there on the ground to really bring our mission, our challenge, to every last person that we can reach? And I think the relationship that has been developed between the company and the leadership that we have had in place is really part of the magic within ViSalus. And I look forward to really building that relationship with all of you. I'm a firm believer that the best ideas always come from the leadership in the field, and we really look at our role, guys, as how do we support that? How do we take those ideas and how do we bring them to reality in a flawless fashion so we can go out there and reach more people in a faster pace? Internally we have kind of a mantra where we say we got to close the gap. We don't want any gap between the company and the field, right? We want zero gap. I guess we'll maybe shift that in the UK to mind the gap. That's kind of the mantra that we have. And I see myself as part of a key bridge that will work closely with a lot of you, really be the ear and make sure that you have everything you need to go out there and achieve the results and help the people that we're trying to help. And I guess the last thing I'll say is I know a lot of you, it's maybe been a whirlwind of the last few weeks. Maybe some of you have a few months since you heard the rumors that we'd be heading that direction. And I want each of you to know that while maybe a few months or a few weeks in the making for you, this is 8 years in the making for us. Behind the scenes, we've been gearing up, making sure we have everything in place to bring a launch to the UK, unlike that, those regions have ever seen in the industry. And if you look at our track record, we are number one in our category in the U.S. We are number one in Canada. We do more sales than, our competitors. We do more sales in our markets than the Herbalifes or Amways within the markets we're in. We do more sales than the Nutrisystem or Jenny Craig's. And our intention is to go out there and maintain that number one title in the UK and do it as fast a fashion as we can. And I know that's going to take a partnership between all of us on the line. So I'm excited. You guys have our 100% commitment and support to bring it in terms of the launch of the UK. And I look forward to, putting faces to all the names I see on this webinar here in the next few weeks. So, Nick, back to you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Blake. And thank you so much for Ryan, guys. I hope all of you guys are excited to meet both of these gentlemen. Blake will be out there sometime in the next 2 weeks, and then Ryan will be out there for our official kickoff and Influencer Summit. So let's go ahead and get rocking here. I'm going to switch over to slides so we can have an opportunity to get you guys in front of, the content. And, gang, this is a really special moment right now because on the webinar with us is all of the 5-star ambassadors. I forgot that of that 148 people that we have on the line right now, you got 35 5-stars, plus some of the management team members. So we got about 105 full-time UK networkers. So you guys know the actual number. 105 full-time UK networkers who are ready to go with us. And you got all the 5-stars on the line learning this business, the pre-launch, how to do this all at the exact same time. You guys need to pay extremely close attention because we're all learning this together. We're all in this together now. We're all one big team now. And the fate of the UK lies in the hands of the 148 people on the line right now, both from the UK leadership, the ViSalus leadership, and the ViSalus staff and management team. So let's get rocking and rolling and dive in. Up until this point, a lot of the things that I'm going to share with you are going to have some redundancy. However, redundancy is the king of retention, right? You got to hear things over and over and over again in order to retain them. And now we're playing for keeps because effective immediately, everybody who is an ambassador in ViSalus as of late last night now knows that we are headed to the UK and is now aware that we are in influencer recruiting only mode, and they're working with their 5-stars to connect them to influencers in the UK as of this webinar right now. So we're going to have a significant presence there with everybody running the same play, the same strategy, the same, everything that you guys can think of. So let's get, recapping some of the stuff we've already talked about so that all of us are on the exact same page. I'm texting somebody back and forth right now, guys, making sure you guys can see my slides. So I want to be sure that as I'm talking and training that you're seeing what I'm seeing. It says, but showing other slides, click show, we see it. We see it. Okay, so you do see it. All right. So right now, you guys should be seeing a slide that says UK launch plan, internal only, do not circulate. Now, here's the next 30 days. The next 30 days is going to be focused on, as you guys know, influencers only, right? Influencers only. We're in the middle of going after the launch plan, which is phase 1, get positioned, influencers only. Phase 2, hit position. Phase 3, recognition. And the majority of this call is going to be spent, obviously, on phase 1, specifically between now and March 16th at the Influencer Summit. So really, we're just talking about 3 weeks of what's the program or the process for the next 3 weeks. So within this, you've got between now and March 23rd, influencers only. We're going to pre-build 500 influential community leaders who are 100% in. We're going to focus on 4 categories and 4 categories only. Category number 1 is a teacher, coach, and pastor. Category number 2 is a wellness and fitness professional. Category number 3 is a 6-figure-a-year earner. It doesn't matter what career they're in, whether they're a lawyer or a real estate agent or an entrepreneur. Category number 4 is a full-time network marketer. It doesn't matter to me if they make £2,000 a month. If what they do for a living is conference calls, home presentations, and trainings, then that's somebody that we want on the team. However, and I want to put a gigantic however, a huge exclamation point, however, just because somebody has signed up before in network marketing does not make them any good at it, does not make them influential. Just because somebody has signed up in 10 deals does not make them influential. It is really important, extremely important, that everybody on the line sticks to the same play for the next couple weeks. Because what you guys are used to is a company coming to your area and everyone runs around and signs up every person they can find, every neighbor, every cousin, every coworker. And then they run a launch event and they expect it to pop, and it doesn't pop. And the reason why is because I want you guys to imagine a scale of 1 to 10. Now, this is an influence scale. So when I talk about an influence scale, it doesn't mean that anybody is a better person than anyone else. It just means they have more influence than somebody else. That's it. So when I talk about an influence scale, I mean exactly that. I'm just talking about the topic of influence, not, who's a better human being. And if on that influence scale of 1 to 10, you begin signing up people out of the gates who have an influence of a 3, tell me what that 3 is going to go do next. You guessed it. They're going to go sign up a 1. Well, who's that 1 going to go sign up next? You guessed it, nobody. And then your organization stops, your momentum stops, and your growth stops. What we're doing is we're starting with people that are a 7, 8, 9, and 10 level of influence. And then the 8 goes and signs up all the 6s. And the 6s goes and signs up all the 4s. And the 4s goes and signs up all the 2s. And the 2s goes and sign up all the 1s. And your momentum lasts for a year as opposed to for 60 days. Furthermore, and equally as important, I know all of you may believe in your heart that you're going to be giving somebody some sort of an advantage because they're signing up, quote unquote, early. And I'm here to tell you that's a network marketing myth and it's a network marketing lie. There is no advantage that you're giving this person by signing them up, quote unquote, early. All you're doing is hampering their ability to succeed if they're not an influencer. Let me explain to you why. Because for the next few weeks, we're going to teach a certain style of doing business. And we're going to lead with the opportunity first, which is not the way that the Body by Vi Challenge is successful. And it's not the way that we as a company do business, leading opportunity first. But during a pre-launch, there's a 30-day period where we have to lead opportunity first. I know this is kind of contradictory, but if we get the right people, we can pull it off. If we get the wrong people, it won't work. So let me say, for example, you go right now and immediately go sign up a bunch of 3s on an influence scale. And I teach them high-level business conversations, launch plans, and we talk about numbers and data and all this stuff. The 3 doesn't understand any of it, but maybe we excite them so they sign up. Congratulations. The 3 then struggles to learn all this system that we're teaching them and can't go sign up anyone else because there are 3 trying to talk to 7s. So it doesn't work. 30 days later, we go back to the 3 and we tell the 3, hey, now we're going to change systems on you and we're going to teach you the real way that the challenge is successful, which is press blend on a blender and play on a DVD. But the 3 can't make the shift, can't make the adjustment, can't make the change, doesn't understand there's 2 systems, doesn't understand why there is 2 systems, why there was 2 systems. The 3 gets frustrated and the 3 quits. Or the 3 keeps running the old system while everyone else is running the new system. And the 3 gets no results. Guys, I spend this much time on this topic because I can tell you from a position of strength. If you deviate outside of talking to influencers over the next few weeks, it will come back to haunt you. It will be detrimental to your growth, and worse, it will be detrimental to that human being that you bring into the business before they should be involved. I can't tell you how important that this is. It is the most critical aspect of the launch plan, is sticking to influencers only, influencers only, influencers only. Now for you, I think all of you guys as full-time networkers are smart enough to understand everything that I'm saying and why. Now let me tell you where this gets really difficult. When you go sign up an influencer, you've got to make sure that they understand that they are not to talk to anybody who's not an influencer until March 23rd. Nobody who's not an influencer until March 23rd can be talked to by your team that you're signing up. And this is where it gets difficult. This is where we're going to see your ability and your strength as a leader to be able to keep the influencers you're bringing to the table to only focus on other influencers. Because let's say you sign up John the influencer, and John goes and signs up 20 people who are not influencers, brings them all to the Influencer Summit, and John's expecting to go 2-star ambassador, and guess what? John barely hits regional director. Well, why did John barely hit regional director? Because everybody he brought to the dance were people who were 2s and 3s on the influence scale, and John now is frustrated with you, he's frustrated with the company, he tells everybody this doesn't work. Well, it works, but John didn't follow the process of the system, you didn't lead them appropriately, and now we have inaccurate expectations. This also means for all of you guys that obviously there can be no public videos, there can be no public social media, there can be no public anything for the next 30 days. Everything has to be a person-to-person, conversation-to-conversation, phone call to phone call, not I'm going to put up a Facebook page and try to get everybody to sign up in something that doesn't exist and they don't have any influence anyway, so who cares? These are strategies you learn from companies that every single one of you told me the same thing. They didn't work. So tell me why you'd want to run strategies that didn't work in the past and why they're going to work now. The answer is they're not. All you're going to do is sign up a bunch of people into something too early, before they're ready, teach them stuff they don't need to be learning. All they need to do is press blend on a blender and play on a DVD. So you guys have got to police yourself, and you've got to police everybody in your organization. It's a difficult task, but I believe you can do it. So this is the focus here for the next few weeks, the slides you have in front of you. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. Continuing on phase 1 of Get Position, we're going to collect all applications, and we're going to submit to the fax number that's listed on the application. To give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about here, here is the application. On this application, it's going to have the order form for people to sign up on, the executive with the $199. Here's their credit card information down at the bottom. And down at the very bottom, I don't see it on this one, but the one that we give you guys will have a fax number included. So I apologize, I don't see it on this one. Let me see here. So I will get you guys, I'll make sure the one that you guys have final has the fax number on it, but it's not on this one currently at this moment, no big deal. That fax number is going to be where you will fax these independent promoter applications. Again, the independent promoter application. You'll have all of these parts filled out right here, and you will get these sent in to everybody in your organization, for every influencer that you enroll between now and March 15th. So if you guys look back at my slides here, let's go back to my slides. You're going to collect all the influencer applications and submit to the fax number that will be on the application that we give you guys. The influencer applications will be charged on March 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. In order for them to gain access to the Influencer Summit, we must have charged their application. The event is free, but you can only come in if you are already in the company. Now, step 3 of this extended phase here is to get every influencer to the Influencer Summit in London on March 15th and 16th. Now, let me talk to you guys about the timeline and the time frame of how this will work. On the 16th, it will be an all-day get-together. Sorry about that, guys. On the 16th, you guys will be an all-day get-together and training. We're talking about from probably 10 to 6 or 10 to 7 with a lunch break. On the 15th, which is Friday, we're going to do a directors-only get-together in the evening. Now, what is a director? A director is somebody who has already identified 3 other influencers. So they got themselves in, and they've got 3 other influencers in, and, you know, they got $2,000 in total volume. That is a director. Now, the reason why we're going to be doing this is because we just simply want to see which of the influencers are the most serious, which of the influencers are, you know, are not just involved or signed up, but out there taking action. So that will happen on the 15th, while the 16th is going to be everybody, all of the influencers on Saturday. So I'm going to go over this phase one more time. I'm going to go over this slide one more time. We're going to collect all applications of influencers only. Influencers only. Influencers only. We're then going to charge them on the 12th through the 15th of March to gain entry to the Influencer Summit. And on the first step here is you want to get every influencer you have to the Influencer Summit on the 16th, and directors are welcome on the 15th. We do not want anybody to hand in an application of anyone who is not an influencer. We've already talked about this. And we don't want anybody at the summit who is not an influencer. And lastly, we don't want anybody at the summit who is not 100% in. Meaning, this is not a presentation. The summit is not a presentation, it's a training. So in order for them to be 100%, to be at the summit, they must be 100% in, ready to build, and ready to run. Now let me give you guys a compensation plan breakdown based on historical team launches that I've done. One influencer, 100% in at the Influencer Summit, that should say, not the team launch, but at the Influencer Summit, that equals one regional director by April 15th. So if you had 10 to 15 influencers 100% in at the Influencer Summit, they're going to go out there, put about 25, 30 people in their team. They'll all have 3 customers, get free product, and you will be an ambassador making about $8,000 to $12,000 US a month by May 31st. This is always the process. This is always the breakdown. This is always the formula that I've seen in the last 18 team launches that I've ran. But I'm going to give you two more bullet points on this just to reinforce the slide that you're looking at right now. If the person is not an influencer, this slide will not work. This comp plan you see will not work. This formula will not work. So you got to be really selective, because if you're not really selective, you're lying to yourself. You're going to tell yourself that you're going to have a big result that you're not going to have. Number two, if they're not 100% in when they show up at the summit, if they're not 100% in, it's not going to work. They got to be an influencer, and they got to be 100% in order for this formula to work. And if this formula you see in front of you does not work for you as an individual come May 31st, it's because you had people who were either not influencers or you had people who were not in. I hope that makes sense. The last phase of this is unique to the country launch as opposed to a team launch that we usually do. And that's on March 23rd. We're going to make the announcement at the National Success Training. And then on March 23rd to April 15th, we're going to open everything up to mainstream, meaning every person that you know can sign up on March 23rd. We'll begin online registration on March 23rd. You guys, your websites will be kicked out. You begin enrolling other people, so on and so forth. However, we will be charging cards for customers and for promoters on March 23rd through April 15th. It doesn't matter. Let me try it this way. There will be no free registration trial period, et cetera, et cetera. You're either in or you're out. And if you're in, we charge your card. And if you're out, let us know when you want to be in, and we'll charge your card. The reason for this is for everybody who is an influencer who signs up on March 12th through the 15th, come March 23rd, you can now buy the second part of your executive promoter system. This is obviously the 7-day rule that I'm referencing right now. There'll be a $199 executive promoter system 1, and then 7 days later on the 8th day, you can buy the $199 executive promoter system number 2. So there'll be a number 1 and a number 2. Influencers will be charged 12th to the 15th, and then if they want executive promoter system number 2, they're charged again on the 23rd. Everyone else will begin on the 23rd. And if they want executive promoter system number 2, we'll charge them again when the doors officially open on April 15th. If they want the second one, and we'll ship out the first one, and away we go. So that'll be the system, guys. Everyone enrolls March 23rd. The announcement is March 23rd. We're only doing influencers up until that point. March 23rd through the 15th is open to mainstream. We'll be charging everybody who joins on the mainstream. However, they will not be getting anything until April 15th. Online registration begins, and you can begin to enroll everyone on March 23rd as well. Products do not ship, and checks are not cut until April 15th. Phase 2. So that was all phase 1 of the 3-step plan. Phase 2. Hit position. What's your goal? What rank are you guys trying to hit? Are you trying to hit ambassador? Are you trying to hit 2-star ambassador? Trying to hit 5-star ambassador? You're going to make a run from April 15th to May 31st to hit whatever goal you have in rank. The products are going to be shipped and the checks are going to be sent on April 15th. And then we're going to try to break every phase 1 leader that you brought aboard, every phase 1 influencer, to regional director in this 45-day period. Your position, your rank, will be divisible by who you have in place at the Influencer Summit learning this whole system of how we build our business and running for 45 straight days. The last step, some dates, key dates in there, official day 1, cutoff reverse residual check, April 31st. May 1st, every dollar volume you generate in April will roll into May. Your auto ships will hit on the 5th, 12th, and 19th. May 20th, contests will begin for waiting rooms. So what this means, gang, is all of the people you're enrolling between now and May 20th, do not place them, do not give them away, do not move them, leave them in your waiting room. On May 20th, we'll teach you what to do with everybody in your waiting room. But do not touch your waiting room until May 20th when your 5-stars start running contests for you. Keep everybody in your waiting room. Do not place anybody. Do not assign anyone to anyone. Do not commit anyone to anyone. May 20th, contests begin. May 31st, the end of the 45-day run. Phase 3, recognition. The UK official pre-launch event will be June 7th through the 9th in Birmingham. We're going to bring all regional directors, nationals, presidential directors. We're going to parade all of them across the stage, weight loss stories, beamers, big checks, founding ambassadors. Everything's going to happen at this event. The bigger the rank and the more people you have there to see it, the more momentum that you're going to create for our second 4-month run that will begin at this particular event. So guys, that is the launch plan. You've heard bits and pieces of this up until now. But now here's the key. This smaller slide deck that we created, it ends with a couple steps for everybody. So now you've seen it. It's time to get your ViSalus application in. It's time for you to promote the next influencer call and meeting, find your 15 influencers, and register to the team launch. You guys are going to have to teach this system that I just went over with you to every influencer you bring to the table. So let me tell you guys about how this system is going to work. Then I'm going to go through some calendar items with you, and then we're going to wrap up the webinar. Here's how the system is going to work. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to make your list of influencers. So you probably have already done that by now. You're then going to call this list of influencers, and you're going to send them to a specific website that I'm going to give you guys in just a moment. On this website, it's going to have all 3 steps that you're going to need this influencer to take part in. Again, it's going to have all 3 steps listed for what you're going to want this influencer to take place in, or to take part in. So you're going to say, hey, influencer, I want you to go to this website right here. And on the website, it's going to play the 5-minute sizzle video. It's going to play the 20-minute challenge party DVD. And then it's going to tell them to attend the next influencer call or the next influencer meeting in person. Now, on this website, it's going to have a member login. How the member login will work is it'll be password protected. And when you give us your ViSalus application, you receive the password. When you log in, you can download the slides that you guys are looking at right now, the UK promoter application, the UK Influencer Summit registration form, the NST flyer, what else? The UK comp plan, like everything that we're talking about, the calendar of events, it will all be in a zip file that will be found behind the password-protected login. So if you're doing this system right, you're walking an influencer through these 3 steps. You are getting them enrolled, sending in their application, giving them the password, they're logging in, and they're getting the whole system downloaded to themselves. And then we replicate the process over and over and over again for the next few weeks. There'll also be in there, guys, a script for how an influencer should contact another influencer. So all of these things will be inside this zip file. The slide deck, the forms, the events, the event calendar, and the script of what they need to say. Now, I recognize that this is a bit archaic. It's taking us back about 10 to 15 years in network marketing, and I get that. And we as a company are extremely aggressive in technology and innovative. But guys, there's no other way to keep this off of social media, off from video, off from mainstream, and to keep this in the hands of influencer to influencer. And if you guys will trust me, and if you guys will follow me, and if you guys will believe in me, that if you will do this influencer to influencer, we can identify 500 true influencers, we can put them in a room at one time, and then we can take the brakes off this thing. That 500 will turn into 5,000 overnight. That 5,000 will turn into 10,000 overnight, and we'll create dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of ambassadors within months out there in the UK. So let's talk about how you run an influencer meeting. There's 3 steps to running an influencer meeting. And then each of these steps have kind of, little micro steps. The main 3 steps are you're going to play the DVD, you're going to go through the slides of the influencer launch plan, right here, the launch plan that we just went through, and then you're going to have a closeout of some sort by a 5-star ambassador. Now, you could also have the 5-star ambassador do the slides for you if you wanted them to do that as well, which I recommend, by the way. So you'll do the DVD, you'll go through the launch plan, and then you'll have a call to action. I recommend you have a 5-star ambassador, do the launch plan, and a call to action. The other little small steps are pretty simple. You're going to have a little networking time where, everybody is gathering and talking and chatting a little bit and getting ready for everybody to show up. You as the host will kick off. You'll tell everyone, look, they're here to see the #1 90-day challenge in the world, the 2nd largest weight loss company in North America, and it's coming to the UK on April 15th. And that every single one of them are on the ground floor finding out about this before anyone else is in the UK. And that this is only for influencers right now, and we're only talking to community leaders. We're trying to identify 500 community leaders in the next few weeks. You'll then tell them your story. And that whole process should take 5 to 7 minutes. You press play on the DVD. You'll let the DVD run. You'll talk for a few minutes on the back end, just kind of wrap it up. And then you'll bring in your 5-star to run through the launch steps over the phone. Or if you can't figure out how to get them to do it, you'll do it. You'll run through the launch steps. Promote the upcoming calendar, hand out the scripts, collect their applications, hand out the passwords so they can just go get the scripts themselves, and replicate process. And have a 5-star call in and close out for 5 minutes at the end. Replicate process. We're going to run this system. The events will take about 1 hour and 15 minutes. They'll take about 1 hour and 15 minutes. Not counting the networking period on the front end. The actual content will take about 1 hour and 15 minutes, which is twice as long as a normal challenge party with ViSalus. Why is it twice as long? Because we're doing twice as much. A normal ViSalus challenge party is press play, share some testimonies, are you in or are you out? Okay. The documents for all of you guys and the zip file and the password to log into are going to be available at midnight your time tonight. They're finalizing the final documents necessary, and they will be posted at midnight your time tonight with the final slide deck, and the website that you're going to log into is learn.vi.com. Learn.vi.com. Last time, learn, Learn, .vi.com. The password is influencer. The password is influencer. The password probably will not work right now because the documents are not in there. Right now, there's only 100 of you that are going to need access to log in to get this information. Learn.vi.com, log in, download the documents with the password influencer, and begin running your own influencer meetings ASAP. Leaving this webinar, let me give you guys some action steps. Obviously, guys, you're going to want to fax in your application. You're going to be able to pull that down at midnight tonight, fax in your application. One of the things that we had been in this discussion on the application that I want to make sure I start with you 100, knowing and understanding it, was talking about the what we call Social Security number or our tax ID. I forgot that it might be your national ID. I forgot the name you guys call it. How we're going to do this is we're going to ask for it on everyone's application, but it's not required. But if they know it, they're going to want to put it down. And then in order to get their first check, they're going to have to give us that number. And here's why. Because in the ViSalus system, we can only have one person tied to one ID number. Because we don't want people trying to buy 15, 20 spots and 15, 20 different aliases, trying to make money in 15 to 20 different names. That we're just not that business. Every national ID or Social Security can get access to one spot. That's just the end of the story. So if you don't know the number or if people don't know the number when they sign up, it's okay. It'll still allow you to sign up, but it will not send out their first check until they log in and put that number in. So I want to tell you guys that because you're going to be the first people filling these things out. And I don't want to have any questions on there when you guys are filling it out. So you guys are going to fill out your application, just like you see on the slide in front of you. You're going to promote the next influencer call and the next influencer meeting. You guys should be hitting the phone lines up like crazy, trying to get people to your upcoming influencer calls and influencer meetings. And then you guys want to register to the Influencer Summit as soon as your application is in. Yes, I recognize that you don't have that document either until midnight tonight, but I'm speaking in theory here. I want to show you guys the upcoming calendar. The calendar I'm about to show you is only final for the next week. Again, it's only final for the next week. We don't have all the 5 stars information in here yet or Blake's. So what is final is between today, the 27th, and the 6th of next week, the next 7 days. The next 8 days, actually, the 7th. So let's take a look. On the 28th, there's going to be an influencer call, which is tomorrow. Let me give all of you guys the phone number to the influencer call. The influencer call phone number is 832, I'll type it into Wednesday right here, 832-225-5226, PIN number 33571 pound. That will be the phone number for the calls on Thursday and the call on Sunday, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Sorry, guys, I'm looking at the wrong dates. The first influencer call, I just made a mistake. I need you guys to scratch that off your brain for a moment. I just made a mistake. My apologies. The first influencer call is right here. Sunday, the 24th. I apologize. Sunday, the 24th is the first influencer call, the one I'm highlighting right here. That's the first influencer call. 8 o'clock your time. And then 1 hour later, here's the phone number for that phone call right here. And then 1 hour later, we're going to do a vision call for the UK, which essentially is only going to be given out to the people who have handed in their application. So between now and Sunday, I'm considering the team to be those who have faxed their application in. And there'll be a different phone number for this vision call right here and a different PIN. But I'm not giving it to anybody until after I receive application. So this will be sent out in the upcoming days, probably on Sunday, for the vision call, which is only for people who are in. So influencer call is for prospects. Vision call is for people who have signed up, who are in. Influencers who are in. Then the next influencer call will be Thursday, the 28th. That will be the next influencer call. Between today and Thursday the 28th, I would strongly encourage every one of you on the phone to have an influencer meeting in your own home with influencers in your network. I will strongly encourage influencers in your, everyone on this phone call to run an influencer meeting in your home for people in your community who are of influence. 5 stars on the line. You should be following up with all of your UK leaders on the line right now, scheduling their influencer meetings in their own home in the next upcoming 7 days. I gave you guys a 7-day buffer on purpose so you could see how to run one of these in your own home before we come out and light the marketplace on fire, starting with next Thursday. On next Thursday, the 28th, we'll have a 5-star in Preston. On March 1st, we'll have a 5-star in Leeds. On March 2nd, we will have an influencer meeting in Southampton with me and an influencer meeting in Bristol with a 5-star. All the details are yet to come on these, so don't stress out about all that right now. All details are coming. We will be in Preston on the 28th, Leeds on the 1st, Southampton and Bristol on the 2nd. We will then be in Glasgow and Milton Keynes, if I'm saying that correctly, on the 3rd. I personally will be in Glasgow on the 3rd, and a 5-star will be in Milton Keynes on the 3rd. We'll also be running the influencer call and the UK Vision call on the 3rd. So just in case you don't have people, or you're not attending the Glasgow influencer meeting, it doesn't matter. You can put people on the influencer call. Then on the 4th, I will do Birmingham, and a 5-star will do Sheffield. On the 5th, I will do London, and a 5-star will do Manchester. On the 6th, a 5-star will do Liverpool, and on the 7th, we'll have an influencer call, and Blake Mullen will be out there doing several cities. So this is your next 2-week calendar. It's not your next 1 week, it's your next 2-week calendar. Influencer calls on Sunday and Thursday. Vision calls for the influencers that have signed up and sent their application in on Sundays at 9 p.m. And then influencer meetings all throughout the marketplaces that you are running in the cities that you're running them in. And then we're going to come out there the week after that and hit all the cities that we can. But don't forget that you can be in different homes running influencer meetings while we're out there in the marketplace. We don't all have to be in the same place. Guys, this is going to be fun. This is going to be crazy. It's going to be wild. It's going to be exciting. And you're going to have to work with your 5-star to learn this influencer system, because you're going to be running it nonstop around the clock for the next 3 weeks. When you guys get to the Influencer Summit on March 16th, we will then teach you how to run our normal business as usual. Meaning, how do you run the ViSalus system and get away from the influencer approach, because there's only so many influencers. How do we make it run viral in the mainstream? I want to remind you guys that the National Success Training is March 23rd. Should you want to or choose to attend, I would recommend that you attend. It would be very good for you, especially if you've never made it out to Atlanta. I would bring some of your key influencers with you. There's no doubt that the day that we launch the UK, the people that are in Los Angeles that have been to our national convention are going to be a little bit more fired up than everyone else that's sitting back at home. There's no doubt in my mind. Finally, guys, I want to kind of end the call where I started it, to share with you that this is a different style of opening a country. And it will work. But it takes discipline. And it takes unity. It takes working together. It takes following the play. It takes being coachable. It takes not being a cowboy and putting up websites and putting up, videos and putting up links. Because here's what will happen. If all of you guys go your separate way and start signing up everybody and making it public, then we will have no choice on our end than to throw a conference call opening up the pre-registration to the UK to all of ViSalus. I will leave the fate of the pre-build of the UK in the hands of the 100 of you on this webinar and this call right now. If you guys want to pre-build it with influencers, then let's do that. If you want to go cowboy and go a different direction, then we will have no choice but to open it up to everybody in ViSalus over a conference call as soon as we feel that we have lost control of the people wanting to do it the right way. So you guys have got to work together on this. You guys have got to trust each other on this. Do the right thing. Do it the right way. And give me your trust. If you give me your trust and you will follow me on March 16th, when we have 500 influencers in that room and we press go, you're going to understand immediately why we did it the way we did it. You're going to know. You're going to get it. And you're going to be excited that we did it this way. So, gang, call your 5-star right now. Make the schedule for your personal influencer meeting between now and next Wednesday. And I can't wait to see you at one of the 4 cities that I'm coming out to. And Blake can't wait to see you. It's one of the 3 to 4 cities that he's coming out to. Our 5-stars can't wait to meet you. And I'll hear your voice on our first influencer call and our first UK Vision call this upcoming Sunday. Guys, thank you so much for your time. You are amazing. You guys rock. And I can't wait to launch the UK hand in hand with every single one of you. Thank you very much for your time, everybody. This call and this webinar is officially over. Take care.